Hi guys, so I'm doing something a bit different today. So if you are a business owner and you are on Xero and you want to understand a little bit more about your finances, this might be quite helpful. In my experience, there's this kind of huge gap between business owners that don't want to know anything about their numbers. They kind of put their head in the sand, or that it's not, they kind of just label themselves as someone who's not a numbers person. You're a marketeer, or you're good at selling, or you're good at coming up with the ideas. So they kind of completely shy away from the numbers. But we've then got people that, want to understand more about their numbers. They actively are really interested in their numbers, but they feel a little bit, dare I say, embarrassed, or they don't feel that their accountant's approachable in terms of asking questions, or they haven't got the internal team to ask the right questions. So what I really wanted to do is keep it really short and sweet, and just do a short video just to show you, if you are a business owner, you're on Xero, even if you've got an accountant and a bookkeeper already, just to show you how to run some basic reports. This is literally, if you're an accountant or you know how to do this, this will be teaching how to suck eggs. It's going to be very straightforward. However, that's the beauty with it, is if you don't do this in your business, you are a business owner, then hopefully it'd be quite powerful, quite useful for you to kind of dig in, maybe ask some better questions of your accountant or your bookkeeper, or be able to sort of poke around and understand your business a bit better from your perspective. And really, when it comes to looking at numbers, it's about asking the right questions and understanding the story that it's telling us. Okay, so diving in. So you should have Xero access. If you are the business owner, you should have your own Xero access. It might be that you don't log into your own Xero. Some people, particularly smaller businesses, the owner might be doing their own invoicing, but if you're a bigger business, you might not even be going in at all. So first step, get your own login sorted so you can play around and you can do this. If you're in, then just ask them to give you, admin access, or advisor access, enough access to kind of run the reports you want to report, you want to look at. And then you go to accounting. If you can't see this, you haven't got the right access, just ask the person who manages your access. So then you can go to accounting, go to reports. I'm in the demo company. You can star and create favorites for these. As you can see here, there's some favorites. They should actually normally show down as a drop down. Either says accounting or reports. I'm not in my own Xero at the moment, so you can sort of favorite these. And typically these are probably the main ones. What I'm going to show you today is really your profit and loss account. Your balance sheet is probably something we can look at later on. So your profit and loss account, if you don't know what that is, that's essentially your income and your expenses. One really important thing to think of when it comes to your profit and loss account is it does not show bank repayments, bank loans. So if you've got a bounce back loan or something like that, and some people wonder why there looks like there's more money according to their profit and loss than they've actually physically got, and that's because some things might not be picked up, and finance payments are a great example most of the time. Equally, on that note, if you've got money coming in from a bank loan, that won't go into sales, and that won't show in your profit and loss either. So another term for profit and loss is P&L, if somebody uses a bit of jargon for you. So yeah, this is the profit and loss for this particular business. These are quite routine categories of income and expenses. So turnover, revenue, top line, that's what we're referring to when we're saying sales and income come into business. Generally, we use those words interchangeably. It's the same thing. So this business has got over 30k. 30,666. So you can, in our business, you can actually subcategorize your sales. So if you've got service 1, service 2, service 3, or product 1, product 2, product 3, you can have different categories and you can have individual lines. So this could be £10,000 each per sales category, if there was 3, for example, or you can just have it in one. I would, if you're just starting, keep it simple. However, you probably want to start getting a bit more granular and just understand what's the income from this service, what's the income from that product. So that's where you probably want to split it later on. But at high level, this is the same idea. You just would have more lines. It just wouldn't say sales, it have the description. Same with cost of sales. So at the moment, we've just got sales, we've got purchases. So cost of sales purchases are normally direct expenses relating to the service. So for a physical good, it'd be buying and selling, it'd be buying the stock, the actual cost of sale. I'm not going to talk about stock accounting and all that sort of stuff. That's not what this is about. We keep it nice and simple. But if you're buying, I don't know, a used car or buying something on Amazon, you're buying it for 50 quid and you sell it for 100 quid. You'd have 100 quid in sales, 50 quid in purchases. Same logic, you can start splitting your purchases into categories. And if you're a service-based business, you still can have cost of sales. We actually include our team costs, our salary costs that for the accountants, the bookkeepers, people that do the work in purchases, in cost of sales, and we separate and we call it direct salaries, and we have administration salaries in administrative costs lower down. So that's up to you, but that's how I would lay it out. So again, you could have sales 1, sales 2, sales 3. You could have purchases 1, purchases 2, purchases 3. You can have things like departments and all that sort of stuff. Let's keep it nice and simple. This is all off your normal profit and loss report here. If you want to change your date range, this is obviously really useful. You can slice and dice this as much as you want. So let's say we're going to go from 1st of April to the end of June 23. Not quite finished that quarter yet, but let's pretend we have. And we want to compare it with the last 3 quarters. And let's update that. This is one of the most powerful reports you can run on your profit and loss. So simple, but very useful to go back. And you can enter a different number if you want to go back further and look at lots of different quarters. In my experience, looking at trends is one of the most powerful things you can do in your business to understand what worked, what didn't work. If the numbers are all over the place, particularly when we get to gross profit, your bookkeeper, your accountant's probably not done all the adjustments they need. That doesn't necessarily mean it's their fault, because it depends on what services you're having. Are you having up-to-date management accounts to really get on top of your numbers, or is it just at the end of the year? So the quarterly numbers are not really as relevant as they should be if you're diving in. Okay, so that's really useful. This particular demo company, there's not much to go back previously, but obviously you'd be able to track over time what you're paying for this, what you're paying for that. So that's really helpful. So yeah, so that's some of the main things, and then you can just go through your expenses and don't feel, if you're a business owner, again, embarrassed or any apprehension in terms of I don't know what these things are. These are just expenses that have been grouped and categorized. These are kind of some typical expense headings, but you can get more granular. You can have your own custom headings, what work for you. You're the business owner, they need to work for you. If you want to have management information, if you want to look at your numbers every month, every quarter, then I recommend customizing some of the accounts that make sense for you. So we've got subscriptions and IT costs, for example, because a lot of our subscriptions are IT based subscriptions. And what we find is typically when you have your own Xero, your own bookkeeping system, you're probably going to have more accounts compared to your end of year accounts when your accountant completes them. Because we're accountants, at the end of the year, we don't need all these different categories when we submit them to the authorities, to HMRC, to Companies House. So we kind of condense it a lot. But for you, you want it to make sense for you to make decisions on your business. Like, why is my rent up and down? Why is my motor expenses up and down? What's in entertainment? And then yes, I'd probably just start there, keep it nice. And I say short and sweet. I've been talking a bit too long now. But you can click into these expenses. And my advertising and marketing is quite high. Let's click in. Let's see what's going on. It should retain the same date range that I had at the top a minute ago. So the last quarter, I think it was. Yeah, the last quarter. You can still change it, or you can just go back and drill into a different account. And you can see there's only 3 things, but they're chunkier items. And then you can see what they are. And then you can go in a little bit of a rabbit hole and you can start drilling in. You can then click into that if you want to and see do we have an invoice for this? There's no invoice in this example, but do we have an invoice? What does it relate to? If I just go back a couple of times, it should take me to my P&L. So you can go back and forth, but you will lose track of where you are. So one way to approach this, say I want to look at sales, is just right click and open a new tab. That's what I would recommend. And then drill into the new screen like it's in a new window. You can retain the original account. So finally, at the bottom, we've got your profit after tax. If you're looking at your own numbers, don't get too set on the actual figures, because your profit, for example, can really change with the proper accounting adjustments. So if you've not accounted for stock, you've not accounted for depreciation, you've not accounted properly for director salaries, accruals, all these other things that accountants do, it might not be 100% reliable. However, if you're consistent with what you're doing, if someone's keeping on top of the bookkeeping, then it should give you a useful basis to see why your numbers are trending up or trending down. And that's the most important thing, is why is it going up, why is it going down? If it's going up, great. Is there anything we can replicate and double down on that? If it's going down, or the expenses are going up, which is negative, have we let them slip? Have we done an expenses review for some time? So these are the sort of things as a business owner you should be thinking about in your business. Hopefully that's useful, guys. Give me a shout if you've got any questions.